Hey everybody, welcome back to the forge. I know I said in my last video we were going to do a knife, but I'm telling you, I've been wrestling with these tongs that I have. I only have one good pair of tongs, and it's just a pair of bolt tongs, and they're pretty worn out. I need to reset the rivet a little bit, but they're good, fairly heavy tong. You know, they've got a nice size boss there, and they're riveted quite well. They're very old. A friend of mine gave these to me. They've been around a long time. Then I've got this set here that I made a video of that I made. They're not bad tongs. I did this recessed, I drilled an inset there so that the rivet wouldn't stick out. But they didn't come out as good as I would have liked. I mean, they're good for really small stock and lighter things, but the reins are too small. I drew the reins out too small, and so they're not ideal for what I need to do either. So today I want to make a nice heavy set of tongs. I've picked up some of this 5/8 round, and I'm not sure that'll be heavy enough. It should be, I think. I'll just make sure that my boss is nice and thick. And anyway, we're going to make a heavier set of tongs that I can handle some of this heavier stuff with. So good to have you here with me. Let's get to work. All right, guys, we've got our piece of steel heated up, and I think we're going to take a pretty big bite out of this. To form our jaw. I want a nice big pair of tongs this time that I can actually handle some pretty good sized steel with, you know? So that looks like a pretty good jaw right there. I don't think we're going to mess with that anymore. We've come about halfway down our bar here, which I think should be good. Come over here and form our boss. That looks pretty good, I think. I think that'll work. I want to leave this nice and heavy in here. I got a little carried away on that last set I made, and we got all of this too thin in here. We're going to keep it a little heavier on this set of tongs. I want to be able to grip some big stuff with these and pick them up and be able to not have to worry about dropping every time I pick something up, you know? Okay, let's define where that boss is going to go. I want to leave about an inch there, I think. You know, I'm going to flatten this out a little bit more. Make sure we got a nice big boss area on there. That's kind of getting cool. We farted around too much. go ahead and get another heat on that and knock that boss in. Somehow got a little double lip going on there. Okay, that looks pretty good. I think we're gonna leave that and go and do this other end now. I think that'll be a lot heavier set of tongs. Will more readily serve my purposes. The last time I drew out these reins quite a ways, and my stock ended up being too long for the forge, and I was having to poke it clear through the back of the forge, and that cost me a lot of heat in the forge. So, all right, I think we went about that far. That looks pretty close. I think we may have gone a little bit longer on this one than we did on this end, but we can always cut that off a little and fix it on with the angle grinder, you know, if it's not perfect. But I think it's fairly close. Let's go ahead and do our next angle. Well, so far I think we're looking pretty close. Maybe. Just clean that up there just a little bit. Alright, we'll go ahead and define that box. So, it just came to my attention that I screwed up on the other end. When I flipped this end, I did it the wrong way. It should have been like this. So we're going to run over and cut this off on the angle grinder real quick and redo this end of the tong. Might have enough heat to hurry up here. Well, I think we better maybe better go ahead and heat that up again now. All right, we're going to do it right this time. That looks much better. I got to looking at that other end and I thought, wait a minute, that doesn't look right. And it certainly was not. That's much more like it right there. Well, I had to take a little break and make a tool. It dawned on me that the old cold chisel that I've been using for doing that sort of thing, I used to make my maker's mark yesterday. So I had to stop real quick and make up a hot chisel. And then I just kind of blackened it up with a little oil and so it won't rust in that. And there we go. Now we're ready to go ahead and put those chisel marks in our tong jaws. So as soon as we get a good heat, well, it looks like we got a good heat on that. Let's go ahead and get those in there. I don't know what I'm thinking. I know I made a hold down tool, but that's not going to work for this. I need to get that off of that handle for a second because I need to have a glove on. That gets awfully hot. Your hand gets awfully hot. That radiates a lot of heat. Let's come like this, I think. Right up to the end. Just seems to help you get a little better grip on your stock. Guess we're gonna, I think I'll turn it around now and do that other side. Alright, we've got some pretty good heat on this end. We're gonna go ahead and put our little chisel marks in here. Alright, I think now I'm going to go ahead and zip these off. Leave myself enough room here to finish our reins and work it that way. Well, okay, we're back. Got these reins drawn out. One of them's wider than the other one. Our tongs don't fit together real well, but once we get the rivet in them, we can go ahead and fix that, I think. I really had a struggle with these tongs today for whatever reason. First we made the one end, we took our drop on the wrong side, had to cut that off and start over again and make a whole new tong jaw. But I finally got these things where they look pretty close, got our holes drilled. These reins aren't even nearly the same. I mean, this one here is a lot thicker than this one. I don't know how I did that, just tired, I guess. But we're going to try to make these things work anyway. I'm about all drawn out on these reins. That's a lot of work, drawing out tong reins. That's a tough job. I don't care who you are. That's a lot of steel to move when you're using fairly big stock. So our rivet's in there. It should be good and hot. We're going to try. The way things have been going today, I don't know. We're going to try to get it in that hole there and then get it through our tongs. I made a little deal this morning before I even started recording to set that rivet, but now that I look at it, that looks like it's too deep. So we'll see here. We may end up having to scrap this set and start all over. Alright, now our rivet's going to bend over. Well, okay, got our rivet through there. And of course, it's not wanting to cooperate. My little thingamajigger here isn't setting it like I thought it would. But that's all right. Well, there they are. They came out pretty good. I don't know if you can see that touch mark on there or not. That's probably something I need to work on a little more too. But they will grip a piece of stock, and it doesn't seem to want to slide out of them too easily. So that's good. Got a lot of room for improvement on tong making though, I'm telling you. Not my forte, not yet anyway. Well guys, thanks for joining me again today. Kind of a rough day in the shop for me. I mean, you don't see it all come through on the video, but I really had to wrestle around with a lot of stuff. I forgot I had used my chisel to make a touch mark, so I had to make this. Is actually a really good success. I made a real nice hot chisel. That wasn't even the project for today, but that came out real nice, you know. But we were able to muster out a pair of tongs, and I think these will work pretty well. I need to work on these reins, straighten them up a little bit, but we can do that another time. But we got them put together. The jaws are at least close to the same size and the same thickness on this set, and they're bigger. I can actually grip some stock with them, and we got a good rivet in this one. This set's not going to loosen up. That last set I made, I tried to drill those shoulders in there, those insets, and inset the rivet so it wouldn't stick out like this, and it proved to be too weak. I mean, those things, I've tightened them up 2 or 3 times. They keep loosening right back up. Not enough rivet head on them with that inset, you know, and being flush like they are. So live and learn. We'll just keep trying. I think I'm over it with the drawing out the reins though. That's so much work. My arm is gone. My shoulders hurt. My back hurts. That's a lot of pounding on those. I mean, that's why I don't try to show it on video, because it just takes forever to draw those reins out and planish them and get them halfway even and decent looking. And I mean, it's quite a chore for me. Maybe somebody that's a full-time blacksmith does this stuff all the time. It may not bother them, but I'm telling you what, I'm a truck driver. I sit in a truck all day, and when I come in here and start pounding on stuff, it's a whole new, I get sore in places I didn't know I had, you know. So I think next pair of tongs I make, I'm going to make even heavier than that. I'm going to make, with big bosses, I'm going to put a 3/8 rivet in them instead of a 1/4. And I'm just going to draw the reins out just far enough and just make a couple of tong blanks, and then I'll go ahead and get some, take some 3/8 stock or something and forge weld it to the tong blank, and just forge weld a set of reins on there. Much easier to make a quick forge weld than it is to sit there and draw those reins out and beat that big stock down into these reins. That's just too much for this old man. So anyway, appreciate you joining me. Appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button. You'll know what's coming up next. And we're going to get to that knife, I promise. We may start on that tomorrow. We'll have to see what happens here. But I appreciate y'all being with me, and have a great night, and we'll see you the next time.